Welcome everyone to the latest edition of Senior Showcase. And we highlight an exceptional grad of class of 2020 and honored to have Andrew Khoury. How are you, Andrew?
I'm great. It's great to be on this, honestly.
Oh, cool. Hey, I gotta address something first. I heard a little rumor about a certain award that you were given last night. Is that something you kind of wanted to comment on, or is there truth to what I've heard?
I mean, some people might call me a tea spiller. Personally speaking, I like to think I keep the secrets, very near and dear to my heart. But according to most, I do spill the tea a little bit.
So, is it safe to say that you're looking to be a future like gossip columnist or something like that? Is that what I'm gathering?
I mean, I wouldn't rule it completely out at this point, but we'll just see whatever happens.
All right. Well, you know what? Why don't you take a minute, introduce yourself, and let us know kind of what you've been involved in your last 4 years at PR.
Okay, well, as Mr. Miko has already said, my name is Andrew Khoury. I've been involved in SNHS, PR basketball for 2 years, the Senior Project, Eyes Open, Spanish Club, Superfans Club, Link Crew, and I've been a 4-year choir member.
Okay. So when you look back on that list of items that you've gone over, what are some of the coolest experiences you've had thinking about what you've been doing in the last couple of years?
I would definitely say the coolest experience I've had, it was this year I got the opportunity to lead a freshman seminar class. And
Cool.
I would say without a doubt, that was probably one of my favorite memories. Just being able to, put some wisdom into the kids that I would have loved to have freshman year, it really meant a lot. And just getting to know the kids, more personally every week, it was a big thing for me. And I'm just really glad that I got that opportunity, through Link Crew. I'm just really glad I got to meet all those kids. Okay, yeah.
All right. So when we talk about Link Crew, what did that involve specifically as it came to like freshman seminar and imparting wisdom on the next generation?
Yeah, so I really couldn't have done it without Rianne Weil. She was my Link Crew partner. The two of us led a class. And just every week we were given an assignment by Mrs. Berg, and she would say, talk to the kids about, give a subject. And then she said, I don't want you guys to stick, specifically to what I tell you to say. Like, impart your own wisdom on like certain situations. Sometimes they're talking about like going to the counselors, and of course they want to say like, go to the counselors. This is your counselor. But I would give my personal like intake, be like, I think going at this time is the best because they're not as busy. Or if you're really like concerned about something, you can always talk to a counselor, and stuff like that, where like it's just the little things that maybe they wouldn't have gotten from just the lesson that I think makes a difference. And that's what I personally really wanted my freshman year. So giving it to them, I thought was really important. So I really stressed that this year.
Tell me what and I could see why that's near and dear to your heart. So tell me how your transition went, because most of the kids at PR would have gone to junior high together and come up through Hannah or one of the other junior highs, right? Prairie Grove. You came from a private school in Cary. How did that transition go from there to now this environment where you weren't with them in junior high?
Yeah, it was tough. We had a graduating class of 19 people, and I think like 3 or 4 went to Prairie Ridge. So it was kind of tough in the beginning.
Now, where did you go? Let people know where you went.
I went to Trinity Oaks. You were actually one of my teachers for a class. I remember that. Um,
I don't know if I should remember that, but okay.
yeah, I remember there was only 3 or 4 of us, but the entire situation was a lot easier because my best friend Tristan Villegas, we had gone to school for up until 4th grade, and then he went to Hannah Beardsley, 6th through 8th grade, and he really introduced me to a lot of his friends, and so that was a lot easier. But academically, it was tough because I was used to, having a teacher that my parents knew and like everyone knew because the school was so small. But that little journey, that through, freshman year all the way to senior year, I'm still continually learning about stuff I didn't get to learn, during a private education. But it was really important to me to let every one of the kids know that, like, if they're struggling with something, like, I usually try to fix my own problems and not like reach out. But I learned something in high school. It's so important to go out and reach out to other people, especially if you're struggling, no matter what it is, big or small. And that's what I really wanted to pass on to them. Getting help isn't a sign of weakness; it's a sign of strength.
Oh, that's cool. That's awesome. I love your heart there. Now, I always remember seeing you jumping up and down and being crazy during football games. And tell me what that experience was like for you this year.
Oh, it was great. All my friends on the team, and just, the stands. I always loved to go to the football games. Freshman year, I missed out on that, but then sophomore year, I made it a goal to go to every game. I kept through that all the way through senior year. Like, I just really wanted to see those memories. Even though you record them, I watched those clips. I really wanted to make sure that I could see there in person, and all my friends would always go, which was great. You know, some of those boys, we like to call ourselves the Chili's boys, because right after the games we go to Chili's. But those memories are some of the best I have of high school. Just, in the stands, talking, making friends, just having a great time. It was really some of the best times, in high school, in my opinion.
Who are some of the Chili boys?
Um, Connor Hamilton, Tristan Villegas, Holden Phelps, Patrick Coyle, Will Anderson, Matthew Braley. And then sometimes we'd have people over for fight nights, and like people like Connor Lyden, Drew Fryer, Keegan Garris, who were on the football team during that time, would come over, and we'd have a lot of fun there.
Oh, nice. Was there a go-to at Chili's for you guys?
Oh yeah, well, yeah, we all got different orders. I personally was a chicken fajitas kind of guy, and that's what I've been really missing is going to Chili's, even though we agreed the food not the best. However, we just really enjoy the times, talking, laughing, having a great time. Like, I don't really think it was location that was the reason we went there. It was just the memories that we would make. So yeah, we made that a tradition for like 6 games, I think, all the way through state. We went to Chili's. So it was just a really great time just to spend with them and, get to know them better.
So now that obviously the quarantine and kind of not how everyone had hoped senior year would go, and so tight with your friends, what have you kind of learned about yourself over these last couple months?
I've learned a lot about self-discipline. Before I would always be reliant on other people, really motivate myself. But this quarantine, I've really, learned self-motivation. Like all my friends would tell you, I was never someone to go into the weight room by himself or do anything like that. But now this quarantine, I found myself a lot more focused on myself, improving myself every day, 1% at a time. And it's just really important to me that every day I get a little bit better. I learn something new, or I just try my hardest. And that's been really important to me, just that self-motivation key.
All right, tell me about that. Give me some real world examples of what that looks like for you.
Yeah, so my self-motivation, I would say even in the beginning of the quarantine, it wasn't like all that great. But then one day we have a home gym, and my brother Dan, he pushed me he said, one day just lift with me. And then every other day I just found myself, in my head being like, I got to do this just to make myself that much better. I don't know really why it sparked in me, but I'm really glad it did, because I feel like the changes that I'm making in my life are stuff I can like consistently improve upon. Like, I just don't want to settle to be average. I want to settle to be great.
Okay, awesome. Now, how are you going to apply that next year? First, tell us what you're going to do, where you're going. I think your shirt gives it away a little bit, but
Yeah.
the Eagles.
Yeah, I'm going to Marquette for 4 years, hoping to study marketing there. And the thing that I thought about was, once again, that jump from middle school to high school. I was always used to being like the smartest person, or just like I could just figure out everything I wanted very easily. In high school, it really challenged me that I wasn't just the smartest person ever. So I had to work for what I got. And that same mindset's going to college. I'm not going to like let people just pass me or just because they're a little bit smarter than me naturally. I'm going to work that much harder, and I'm going to just make sure that whatever I do, I become the best at it. And that's just been the mindset I've had all quarantine. And I'm going to take that mindset and just, apply it to all areas of my life, really, because to me, being average isn't something that I really am striving to become.
Now, why Marquette? I mean, what kind of walk us through kind of your selection process, what some other schools were, and why you settled on Marquette ultimately.
Yeah, so I went on a bunch of campus visits. I went to DePaul, Loyola, UW-Madison, Butler, and Marquette, and Indiana. And all those schools, I tried to look for one thing, and it was, does it feel like I could call this place home? And that's what my mom stressed to me. She said, don't ever worry about what the money says. Just figure out where the home is, where your heart is. And that's going to be the most important. So I tried to do that for every school I went to. I wanted to imagine myself being there, if my heart was truly invested in that place. And when I went to Marquette, it just felt like it was home. Like, I don't know how to describe it, but like the second I walked in, I felt like I belonged. I felt like this is my place. It also helps that it's not too far away from home, in case a family emergency happens. We were talking about that. Some of the other colleges like Indiana were like 6 hours away, which was kind of tough if I needed to get home really quickly. But I just went to Marquette. We had an amazing tour guide, and he just sold me on this place being my home. And from that point on, I always knew that whatever college I got into, I was going to Marquette.
Nice. Okay. So then, have you gone through, you already know where you're going to live, what dorm, roommates?
Yeah, I do know my roommate, but they pushed back the housing process until June 1st because of
Okay.
Corona. It usually should have been May 1st, which is decision day, but they've pushed back everything about a month. We're still trying to learn if I'm even going to be going to school there for the first semester due to this outbreak. But if I do, I'm really excited, even though they don't have a football team. I will be honest, quite disappointing. But
You
the
got a
back,
hoops team. You got a hoops team.
I'm about to say the basketball team. I got to see the last game, the last home game, and I just felt the energy, and I really felt like that was my home. Like, this is somewhere I could grow into and just become a leader. That's another thing I've been stressing is becoming a leader.
Nice. So how'd you find your roommate? Who is that going to be?
Yeah, it's this kid from Elk Grove. His name's Zach Eugene. We met over Facebook because that's where all the people who get admitted into Marquette, you go into a Facebook group chat. And I was looking at him, and we all had the same interests. I mean, he does say he hates the Patriots. That was initially a turnoff. However, I just looked at him and his sports. He's very interested in sports, and he seemed like a really genuine guy. The more I got to talk to him, the more genuine he's been. So that was really important. Someone I could be like very genuine and real with. And yeah, I think we're both perfect roommates for each other.
All right, why don't you share with everyone what's with the whole Patriot thing and Red Sox thing, and I'm surprised you weren't looking at Boston College thing.
No. Yeah. Well, my dad, my friends call him PK now. PK has raised me to become a Boston sports fan since I was born. My brother did not take up in that, but I did. Me and my dad have grown really close over, watching the Boston Red Sox or the Bruins or the Patriots, of course. And it's been really great, Sometimes when you can't connect with certain people on like a subject, it's really great to have that really common subject that you love. And me and my dad both love sports so much. And it's really important building block in our relationship.
So your mom couldn't convince you to look at her alma mater out west?
Yeah, well, me and my mom did talk about me going to USC, but once again, it came down to if there was really a family emergency, like if something happens to my grandparents who live out east, like it'd be really tough on me to go all the way out there and then all the way back for a class. And so I thought it was really important to kind of remain in the Midwest, where my parents, have found that middle point for both my mom's side and my dad's side. So yeah, I thought the Midwest is where I belonged.
Okay. Talk to us about any Khoury family traditions that have spawned out of the virus now.
Yeah, me and Daniel, we've grown really close during this quarantine. Like, it's probably the best thing that's ever happened to me is going really close to him. He pushes me to become better. But every day now, well, except for today, it's raining outside. But we usually go outside for like an hour and a half, 2 hours. And then my favorite tradition that we've made is every single night we sit down at the dinner table and talk about what's happened today. Usually both my parents work in the airlines, so they're very busy people. And so they're moving on from one thing to the next. And so it's usually like you eat at your own pace. But like this quarantine's kind of slowed everything down. And so getting to talk about our days together has been a really important piece for me. And I'm just so thankful not thankful that I'm stuck in this house with them, but it's been really nice, really connected right now more than ever.
Now, introduce. I mean, there's the four of you in your family, right?
Yeah, there's the four of us. There's me, my brother Daniel, he's a sophomore. My dad, PK, bless him, he just retired. And then my mom, Heather, as some of my friends also call her. My mom and dad are some of the most committed people I've ever seen. They're just so goal oriented. My dad, I've never seen that man settle for one thing in his life. He's somebody I really aspire to be like. Sometimes we don't agree on certain things, but he is so goal oriented and so driven to be the best. And I really want to take that from him. And he's such a kind man to other people too. He's so kind and genuine with people. And then my mom might be the most caring person I've ever met in my life. She's had to do so much around this house during quarantine, and the airline industry going out the window has not helped. But she has remained so kind, so genuine to herself, that I couldn't think of a better person to deal with all of this than my mom. My mom is just such an amazing woman, and I tell her every day of how proud and how much I love her, because she really matters so much to me.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Your mom wasn't standing behind the door with $100 bill, was she?
I don't think so. Well, I locked the door. So
No, that's really sweet. I'm sure both your folks are going to appreciate that. That was very cool of you. Now you guys take some time at dinner, go over how your day was, things like that. Any binge watching going on?
Yeah. One of my friends, Ivy, recommended me to watch All American, even though I personally, before this, haven't watched Netflix in like 2 years. Like, I don't really watch Netflix like that, but it's something to pass the time. So All American was great. And then besides that, I watch a lot of TikTok and YouTube. That's usually what I'm doing most of the days. But
what's the YouTube rabbit hole that you fall down sometimes?
it's usually just gaming. I play a lot of Warzone with the boys, and so I'm trying to get a little bit better every day about that. So I watch a lot of that, and then TikToks. I couldn't even describe to you what they are.
So who out of your group, is it the Chili Boys that are playing Warzone or what?
Yeah. Plus Keegs. Yeah, I'd say mostly I play with Daniel and Tristan, and then I played with Keegan, Holden, Will, and Chams a lot on Warzone, which has been really fun because, without like talking to them, I don't know what I'd be doing right now. It just hearing their voices and just laughing and, just having a good time really means a lot to me during these times because, we're really deprived of that during these times.
Now, what do you take for granted now? What did you take for granted, the mundane of going to PR every day that you just genuinely miss? Something just dumb.
Oh, just like I never thought I'd say that I miss going to 8th hour commons, because 8th hour commons to me just annoyed me, because like every day I'd go there and I'd be like, okay, I should be home right now, because we sometimes flex out of 9. But every single day I got to meet my friends, and that table really meant a lot to me. Like I can name them all as Avery, Rianne, Holden, and Chams, and we'd all sit around this table and talk about the most, baloney stuff. And I just really miss that. Like I really miss connecting with them like that, even though we were talking about absolute nonsense most of the days. I just miss seeing that, that laughter, when we're actually talking about something serious, that actual look of like they care. It's just missing that human interaction during that 8th hour that I really do miss.
Got it. Now, if you were king,
Yes.
what would you just snap your fingers and do?
If I could just figure out something to do, that's a great question. I'd say I would. Can I do anything I want?
Yeah, you're king, man. You could do anything.
The first thing that I've always thought about, because besides marketing, the other thing I've always wanted to do is, travel the world and, fix the problems of the world. My thing is global hunger. To me, that is just such a big problem that we face in this world. And that's the only thing that if I could really fix anything in the world, I would fix that first. Because to me, I can't really see myself, eating all this food and having people in like Africa just starving to death. And that's always been a big issue in my mind. And maybe that's because of how I was brought up to care about those of the world, not just those who live in my bubble. But I really do care about all those people, throughout the world. I really do hope we find a solution one day to that entire problem.
Is there an organization or anything that you've kind of latched onto or follow that kind of addresses some of that, or
Feed my starving children. I was involved with that in Trinity Oaks, still am today, and it's been really important to me. We used to raise a lot of money through. We did a thing called the Penny Drive, where we would just donate hundreds of dollars worth of pennies to feed my starving children, and that organization to me seems like it's the best one for fixing global starvation. And I feel like they're doing a genuine job. And I just think it's a really important charity, a good charitable cause.
Okay, cool. Now, mindless time wasters other than video. What video games? Where would you fall into that?
Mindless things. Well, today I was on a call and I was just aimlessly staring out a window for about 15 minutes. I don't know why, but it just, I don't know, whenever I hear rain, I just kind of get deep into my thoughts. And so, first time I've seen rain in a little bit, so I've been deep in thought today.
So did the person on the other end of the call know that you were paying attention to them and you were just staring at the rain?
Yeah, he made note of it. Mr. Sinise made note of it a couple times, and I was like, "No, I'm here. Don't worry about it."
Oh, what? So you were talking to Mr. Sinise?
Yeah, we were on an advice call this morning, and I heard the rain, and I was in deep thought. I don't know if he really enjoyed it, but I was in deep thought.
And then he called you out?
Yeah, he called me and he goes, "Andrew, what are you looking at?" And I was like, "That's a great question. That's really a great question you had there." Car. So yeah.
And then I can't imagine the look he gave you after that.
Yeah, he was not too pleased with that answer, but I don't know. It's just something about the rain. Something about the rain always gets me thinking.
All right, so as you think about the faculty that's influenced you over the last 4 years at PR, anyone stick out, have a special place that you'll always remember the way they went about things in class?
Yeah, the one that always comes to mind when I think of that faculty member, Mr. Peterson. I had him my sophomore year and I had him my junior year. And sophomore year, he probably challenged me more than anyone. Once again, I was kind of in that lazy rut of just, getting through the day. He challenged my thinking. And it wasn't just like you're right or you're wrong. It wasn't just that black and white. It was why are you right? Why are you wrong? And I think that was really important for my thinking and, growth as a person, because you need to defend what you really feel about. You can give like a yes or no answer without, giving any emotional attachment. But how he did, his class was just so unique, and it challenged me and it made me work. And then I think he saw that growth till junior year, where I was actually forming my own ideas, having critical thought. And he was just also so positive every day. Even when he wasn't having a good day, he made sure the class was having a good day. And I really admired that about him. He could put everything he wants to the side, everything, all his hopes and dreams, put that to the side and make sure that we're trying to do our best. To me, that is probably the most important trait about a teacher. And I really love that about him. And I've told him that he's, influenced my life so greatly just through little things. He might not even know how much he's influenced me, but.
What class was that? AP Push or History or what was that?
It was Honors World Studies the first time, and then regular U.S. History. But he never let me just relax. I think that was my main thing. Like, everyone can just relax and become complacent, but he really pushed me to become my best. And without that, I don't think I'd be here. I really don't. I think that, pushing me to my absolute best is what allows me to, be myself. Because being complacent isn't really who I am.
What's created this introspective look on yourself that you've taken here, it seems, the last couple of years? What happened?
Yeah, well, freshman year I got rocked, honestly. Like, I was once again, I was used to being just very, over the top and smart and everything. Not to say I'm not smart, but I'm not as smart as I thought I was. But then that sophomore year, he was the first person to really challenge me, like really challenge my thinking. Like, freshman year, you're just trying to get acclimated. Sophomore year, he made sure I made that turn, turn the page. You can have a bad game, a bad something. You just got to turn the page and realize you still got a whole book to write. And to me, that was probably the most important thing he taught me, is you can have a bad day, a good day. You never sit too high or you never sit too low on yourself. You just got to stay even, and you just got to be yourself. And that's been really important. And I really credit that to Mr. Peterson a lot.
Well, just don't. I was waiting for you to quote one of his bad dad jokes or something.
Yeah, we tend to forget those. I'll tell him that much. He told a couple of those, and I just, not to lie, I tuned it out. The second he's flipping through his book, he'd be like, "Oh, this is a good one." You're like, "No, it ain't."
Anyone else? So obviously, Mr. Peterson's had a huge influence on you. Anyone else, as you kind of look back, that you really appreciate?
Yeah, there's a couple, and they did about the same thing, except for just in very different periods of my life. Mr. Sinise this year really made sure that I wasn't going to let the gas off. Like, usually you have seniors coast, but he challenged me to become a better person this year than I was any other year. And that really made me, become a better person the senior year. Like, I tried to be like a role model to the freshmen. I was going to call them little kids, but they're 14. But yeah, he really said, you got to hold yourself as a higher class. And that was really important to me. And he was like a friend to me, very personal, like a friend. And then the other person that really changed my life was Mr. Tagey. He was my freshman basketball coach, so I've never really had him for anything but basketball. But he made sure to tell me that sports aren't bigger than, the grades. And that was my thing. I had always been someone who focused more on sports than I focused on my grades. And, he really woke me up to that there's a life outside of sports, and there's a life outside of, just, playing on a hardwood. And to me, I guess I never really understood that until he told me that straight up. And that brutal honesty really did affect me, because without him, I probably would have played basketball all 4 years, and probably not have gotten the best grades, but just to play basketball. So yeah, that was really important to me.
Now, you said you were involved in choir for 4 years?
Yeah.
Okay, tell me about that. What are some high points, things that you really loved about it?
Yeah, it was really great to get to know Mr. Jensen really well throughout those 4 years. Um, freshman year, I really wasn't acquainted with him well at all, but all my friends were in there, so it was really just more of a social thing. And then throughout the years, I realized that as someone who's not the best singer, I'll be the first to tell you, not the best singer. It was really more about being a role model for the people that were younger than me. That's why I stayed in the last 2 years. I'll be honest, I'm not the biggest choir fan, and I told him that. But to me, choir was so much bigger than just the music. And I think he preached that. Being bigger than the music is being like a role model and being, a leader. And I felt like I was trying to lead the kids this year. Sometimes they wouldn't agree with what I said, but it's just being a leader is standing for what you believe in, no matter what anyone else thinks. And that was really important for me to learn this year. It's just standing for what I really believe in.
So was Mr. Jensen the one directly that you had all 4 years, or were there someone else you interacted with?
No, I had Mr. Jensen for all 4 years, and it was great because with other teachers, it's popping in and out of your life. They're in for one semester and then you don't see him for another 2 years. Mr. Jensen was there all 4 years. And the thing that I really admire about him, once again, was he was genuine. He never switched up his stance on anything. He stayed very true to himself throughout all this time. And it wasn't like he would say something and then wouldn't do it. He practiced what he preached. And that was what was most important to me, is when people practice what they preach.
So from a performance standpoint,
Yeah.
where are some places that you ended up performing as you were in the choir?
Just around local high schools, but my favorite memory of choir was my sophomore year. We got to go to the Fox Valley Conference, like choral event, and it was all the schools from around. They brought one choir, and he chose our choir to attend. And I'll never forget that day. It was just really memorable. I remember Josh Sequoian just being an absolute goof as usual. But that day just meant a lot to me because, as someone who doesn't really see himself singing beyond this point, it was just really nice to be recognized, as a choral group for doing something that was, pretty good. And I would say that's probably the most memorable day I've ever had in choir, was that Fox Valley Conference in April.
So draw a line for me. You've got what's behind the your infamous award last night that you received. So
Okay.
what drives that? I'll give you a chance to defend yourself, because let's be honest, they're taking a little bit of a shot at you with that one. So there's obviously, where there's smoke, there's fire. And so, I'll let you give you a chance to extinguish that flame.
Well, the second I won the award, I wanted to check with people that I actually won the correct award. Apparently, everyone thinks I still tea or something. In my defense, I don't say really anything. I think it's just false. It's all fake. Maybe I said like a couple things, here and there, but who hasn't? But no, I really do pride myself on the secrets that really matter. I keep secret. Like, that's something I always tell my friends. Like, if you really need to tell me something that's very, urgent, I can't tell anyone, I promise not to tell anyone. And
no, I get it, but what's behind having the fun? So is it just because of your gregarious nature, or what is it?
it's definitely because I'm a loud person. It's because I just say things very loudly, and I don't hide that. If I say something a little too loud, maybe I did spill the tea. But that would be my guess, is I just say things very out there without really any regards.
Well, and I do recall you in your early days, and I don't know, the last couple of years, being a debater of sort, where it almost seems like you would take the opposite side of an issue for the sake of doing that. Now, I don't know if that's still true or not,
That's
but
still true for sure. I just do that all the time. It's just so. I mean, if you can back up any argument with facts, it's just very fun to have like a logical debate with somebody, because at the end of the day, you're just attacking the other person's argument. You're not attacking the other person. And I think those kind of debates really just sharpen your skills when it comes to knowledge or just, anything that's social. And I think those are very important that we have these open forums where we can actually ask these questions, the important ones in life. Yeah, so I think debating is a great thing, and we should not really get rid of it. I really like I forget what it was called, but it
The
was,
Lyceum?
yeah, there was a Lyceum. There was a bunch of Lyceums this year. I remember I had one last year. But that Lyceum class where they would debate every other like week, I would have really enjoyed being in that, I think. Just to have the opportunity to stand in front of that stage and just, have an open debate as to what you think is right or what you think is wrong. And I think that's really important because if you stand for what you truly believe in, then what's the problem?
Okay. So it's not as much you just wanted to argue that you really do want to take a stand on a few
Yeah.
issues and be able to defend it.
Yeah, I think standing out, not to take shots at anyone, but I feel like standing on a fence and sometimes can be good, but mostly some people usually have a strong opinion about something, but they just don't want to, talk about it. And I think that's a problem with this nation, that we do need to have these conversations that are happening, the tough conversations, because it's very important that we all, we can see each other's sides of the argument. Because without that, we're just going to stand divided, and a house divided will not stand.
Sure. And there's also a saying out there about being lukewarm. You'd rather be hot or cold because, lukewarm grosses you out and you get,
Yeah.
the Bible talks about spitting you out if you're lukewarm. So I get that, and being a fence rider. So no, good thought there. So when you hear the term, once a wolf, always a wolf, what's that mean to you?
To me personally, it means holding the legacy of an entire school on your back, wherever you go. Once you're a wolf, you carry that in your heart. You're never going to get rid of that. It's a part of who you are now. And you got to keep yourself accountable during these times. You got to make sure you're tough enough. Being a wolf means tough through the hard situations in life. And being a wolf is also being compassionate towards others. I think it's really important that we extend that and we make sure that everyone's okay. Because if one member of the pack's hurt, and it's just going to make the entire pack weaker. I think everyone being as strong as they can is really important, and especially when they have the help of others.
Okay, nice. Now, what's something people don't? What's a weird trait, a weird fact about you, Andrew, that people just don't know, that maybe only your family or Dan knows about you?
Yeah, I had to ask Tristan, my most trusted advisor, on what people really wouldn't know about me. But I guess I've only kept it between my family and Tristan. It's just how much my trust really is. Like, if you have my trust, I would do anything for you. And that's something I live by now. Just my trust is something that will always live, and I guess it's up to everyone. If you have my trust, I will do anything for you.
Okay, nice. Think about your family. I didn't ask a question about this, and it's always kind of fun to hear what's been what are the takeout specialties in your family? I mean, or is there debate around that?
Well, yeah, there's a huge debate. As somebody who doesn't like Chinese food, this entire family has become Chinese food like aficionados. Everyone wants it in this house. And then every time I just say, let's go to Chipotle, and it's like I just committed a world crime after like the third time of the week. I'm like, I don't have a problem with it. But my dad, for some reason, over this quarantine, has decided Chinese food is his new favorite, and I can't eat it. So he just over here, and so we have those debates of, am I going to eat Chinese food for the day, or am I going to get Chipotle for the day? I personally.
Let me ask you: do you form that in a debate backed up by fact, or do you just go along with the flow?
It depends on how bad I really want Chipotle. Like, I'll be like, I'll get more protein if I eat Chipotle. Or he'll say something like, we haven't had Chinese this week. And I was like, well, in that situation, I don't really have a defense if we haven't had it that week. But yeah, I
How
think
about
I think
how about
tonight
if
I'm gonna try and convince us and say we're getting
how
Chinese, and I have no defense on it.
about if your mom gets to make the choice?
Oh, if my mom gets to make the choice, she is she is somebody, she loves Portillo's. So yeah, if she really wanted the choice, she'll probably say Portillo's. But if she doesn't want to sit in that line all that time, probably Chick-fil-A.
Okay, got it. So we're going to see the Portillo's, Chick-fil-A, some local Chinese place, or Chipotle.
Yeah, more than likely.
All right. Now, if you, what are you most excited about regarding Marquette next year?
Just seeing new faces, you know. I think every day it's like a new time to like introduce yourself and make an impact on someone's life. And I just really want to make that impact on other people's lives. I felt like I've made some impacts here in PR. Maybe I could have made more, but I'm just really excited to go to Marquette and try, make those impacts with other people. And I think that's why I've been put on this earth, is to make impacts in people's lives and make a profound difference.
Okay, awesome. Last question. When you'd walk the halls at PR and you walk by someone and you started laughing, who would that person have been that you would have walked by?
There's a couple of them. There's definitely a couple of them. First and foremost, Tristan. I'd see him in the hallway and just start laughing for no reason. Holden, and then I'd say probably the last one's Keegan. Every time I see him, it would be some weird inside joke that's happening, and they would just do something so slight that no one else would notice, but I'd just start dying laughing. And everyone would think I'd be insane, but it's just a little too much to go into right now, but those boys just know how to make me laugh.
And what's your thought of Keegan's beard that he's trying to sport?
I've told him it could look good in maybe 5 years, but maybe we got to chop it down right now. But, everyone's got their own quarantine look. I mean, you can't really tell right now, but this is the longest my hair has ever been in my life.
Shave it, man.
Yeah, I have to get that past PK. And PK, last time I got a self haircut, PK wouldn't let us. He reminded us for the next 6 months of what happened.
Well, have him shave it.
Oh, dude, my dad with clippers in his hands.
Yeah.
That might be a mistake. He's gonna try and do something. I'm gonna end up with a bowl cut.
So what? You got 4 months till college. You'll be good.
A bowl cut.
Hey, it looks like you got a nest of sparrows in there somewhere.
It's
Come on
okay.
now.
No, this hair looks a lot better than what it used to look like. I woke up today and my hair was about this long on the top. It's all matted down right now.
All right, Andrew. Hey, I appreciate the time, the opportunity. I'm sure your classmates appreciate your friendship and always being there to lend a wisecrack or a smile and definitely earning the spilling the tea in a good-natured, fun way. So best of luck to you at Marquette, and thanks for your time.
Thank you.
Everybody just clap your